Midsize Ram pickup truck is on the way. Chrysler is looking at replacing the 300, and Audi sets its sight on the Tesla Model X. Alright guys, welcome back to Offbeat Motors. If this is your first time stopping by, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's get right into this. So, since 2011, Dodge has not offered a midsize pickup truck once they discontinued the Dakota. They've continued to offer smaller pickup trucks throughout the world, and they even have some Fiat-based pickup trucks. But now with the raise in the market share of the midsize pickups picking back up, and you got companies like Ford entering back into the mix with the new Ranger. Chevrolet has just re-released a couple of years ago the newer style GMC Canyons and the Colorado pickups, which are pretty nice looking trucks. Toyota's still going strong with their Tacoma, even though that's probably starting to get older than it should be and should be replaced soon. But if it's any indication with what they've done with the Tundra, where it's been around for over a decade, who knows if that's actually going to happen with them. Nissan has been in talks of possibly replacing the Frontier. Again, that's another truck that has not been replaced or major facelifted or anything like that in about a decade. So Ram and FCA have been taking a look at this market share, and they've seen the increase in consumers switching over to the midsize pickups, basically picking back up. Pickup, yeah. And with FCA announcing that Jeep is going to have a Wrangler-based pickup truck, which will be built in the Toledo, Ohio factory, it only makes sense for Dodge to come back with a new, updated version of whether it's going to be called a Dakota or not, who knows, but a midsize pickup. It's obviously going to be a Ram because the Ram is the truck division now. It's not going to be called a Dodge Dakota. So if it does get a Dakota name, it's going to be a Ram Dakota, which just doesn't make sense. So they'll probably come up with something else. But anyways, back to the story. Back to over the Wrangler. It only makes sense that it comes back with the interpretation of a Wrangler. And it's going to hold true with a body on frame, just like the old Dakota always had, which is what the Wrangler is based upon, and the Wrangler pickup will be based upon. So it's pretty much going to be a version of that. Expect it to have the same drivetrain, layouts, and everything else. Just don't expect it to have a V8 like the last version of the Dakota, which would be pretty cool if they had a V8, but with this day and age, when miles per gallon and the FCA having strict emission standards, I highly doubt it's going to come back with a V8. So you can probably pretty much expect it to have a six-cylinder, or V6, excuse me, the Turbo 4, which is now offered in a Wrangler, so it'll probably have a version of that, if not the same exact motor, and expect it to have all-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, four-door, the basic layout and everything. So that's the news on the latest of the upcoming Ram midsize pickup. Sticking over in the FCA stable, Chrysler is now apparently talking about replacing the 300 with a completely new vehicle rather than redesigning it. Kind of makes sense because it is an aging vehicle. It's been on this platform, which has been shared with the Challenger and Chargers for quite a while now without any major update to them. They've had some facelifts here and there, but nothing really major redesigned chassis-wise and whatnot, which is basically an older version of a Mercedes E-Class. So Chrysler has come out with a new concept vehicle, which was built by millennials for millennials. It is which I don't quite understand how that's going to work out, because if I recall correctly, there's been reports over the last couple of years that millennials are actually opting not to purchase vehicles. They're actually going more along the lines with ride sharing. They're using Uber, public transportation and whatnot, but they're not actually buying their vehicles. So I don't know how you're going to have a vehicle specifically designed for millennials when they're not buying them, unless they have something else in mind with like the ride share type of thing anyways. So this new Chrysler 300 replacement that's for millennials by millennials is called a Portal, and basically what it is it's a minivan, another minivan from Chrysler. They've already have the Pacifica, so why not add another minivan, because the minivan market is so hot right now. Anyways, so it's an all-electric version vehicle that they have designed. It's obviously not going to be as big as a Pacifica. As you can see from the pictures, it's a little more radically designed than a Pacifica, but you get the idea of what it is. So it'd be interesting to see if that's actually what they go with, or if they go with something else. Moving from FCA over to the Audi stable, but sticking with the electric theme, Audi is set to release in the second quarter of 2019 their e-tron SUV. If you're not familiar with e-tron is basically their electrification of vehicles, which they had an A3 version of, which was, I think it was a hybrid. It wasn't a full electric or anything. But this e-tron SUV is going to be a full electric vehicle, and it's set to come out, like I said, in the second quarter of 2019. And the first edition launches, there's like 900 and something of them, I think they're going to release, but they're going to be priced right around $96,000 or $86,700, somewhere right in there, before any incentives, of course. So after that, there will be a base model available, which is going to actually start out at around $74,800, which kind of puts it in line with the cheapest Model X you can get, which is generally right around in that same, which will help compete with that. The e-tron does get dual motors, front and rear, to stick with a 4-motion all-wheel drive system that Audi is known for. Let me see here, I got my church, I didn't want to get this wrong, so trusty cheat sheet. It gets dual motors with a combined total output of 265 kilowatts. That's when it's just in basic mode. There is an option which is called a boost mode, which increases the kilowatt hours to 300. Once you're in that boost mode, you can do 0 to 60 in like 5.5 seconds. So that's pretty quick. I think the Model X is going to do it a little faster than that. I know the P100D definitely obliterates that in that, but it's going to have a range right around 248 plus miles. So if you can squeak out about 275-ish, somewhere in that area, you'll be doing pretty good with it. The front motor is said to be about 125 kilowatts, while the rear motor is running right around 140 kilowatts at their peaks. And then once you combine them, you obviously come up with a 265 to 300 kilowatts with boost mode. It is going to be capable of a top speed of around 124 miles an hour, and is going to tow up to 4,000 pounds. So that's pretty decent for an electric SUV. How many people are going to be towing with it? God only knows, but I highly doubt there are not going to be a lot of people towing with it. Because, if you're towing more load and whatnot, it's obviously going to decrease the range. So now, from a charging standpoint, there's going to be a couple of different options here. You're going to get the basic charging, which will allow you to charge from your home. When charging from your home, it's going to take, I think they said right around 10 hours to do a full charge from pretty much depleted all the way to fully charged. Audi's coming out with a nationwide Audi charging plan, which will let US e-tron owners access 1,000 kilowatt hours of charging at Electrify America stations, which are starting to pop up all over going to be popping up all over the place. So basically, kind of like the supercharger network for Tesla, Audi has partnered with a brand here in the U.S. to come up with the same philosophy. Now, you're going to be able to, the owners are going to be able to get that for the first 4 years of ownership. You'll be able to have that, and once you go there, you can go all the way up to 80% of charge within 30 minutes. So, kind of puts it in line with the Tesla supercharger network. And basically, that's what it's out there to compete with. They saw what's going on with Tesla, and obviously, these other higher manufacturers are starting to get into that realm of the Tesla and starting to compete with them. How well it's going to go down, don't know. So, the good thing with Audi compared to Tesla is everybody knows that Tesla's fit and finishes necessarily aren't that great with their gaps and stuff like that, because they just didn't have the production available expertise, whereas Audi's got all that. Now, on the inside of the Audi e-tron, you can actually expect to get the visual cues and technology and stuff as you would get in the A6 and A8s. That's basically where it's borrowing heavily from. So you're going to get that really cool dash and everything. That's the full LCD right there in the cluster, which is actually really cool. I actually kind of like that. So there's a little bit of tidbit of news on 3 separate vehicles for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said earlier, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you like, comment, share the video, and make sure you're following Offbeat Motors over on Instagram and Twitter. You can find us over there at Offbeat Motors. I'll catch you guys next time around.